Homes in both LA and Miami belonging to rapper Sean Diddy Combs were raided in connection with a sex trafficking investigation by agents from the Department of Homeland Security. I want to play some of the news coverage from that raid. Watch.
They are heavily armed, and they've been very tactful, would probably be the best word to use, as they made entry into this home this afternoon. We actually watched them as they made their way through one of these side gates, and as soon as they got inside the home, the first things they did was made their way into this garage that you see is open right there. Now, they did take a couple people into custody. We witnessed that. Now, are they under arrest? Are they just being asked about what they know? That I can't answer, but I can tell you there's 3 people right there that were taken into custody, were inside that home at the time of the raid.
So these raids follow a wave of civil lawsuits filed against Diddy late last year. 3 women and 1 man were interviewed in relation to allegations of sex trafficking, to which, of course, he has denied any wrongdoing. He said on the matter in December of 2023, "For the last couple of weeks, I have sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation and my legacy. Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and the truth." So as the raids were taking place yesterday, Brendan Paul, Diddy's alleged drug mule, was arrested as federal agents intercepted the rapper's private jet in Miami. And immediately following the raid, music producer Rodney Jones Jr., who filed a sexual assault lawsuit against Diddy Combs in February, officially added Cuba Gooding Jr. in an amendment to the complaint accusing him of sexual assault. So yes, the plot thickens. It keeps going on. But wait, there's more. And none of the things you want when you hear, but wait, there's more. He accused Gooding of sexually harassing and assaulting him on a yacht in the Virgin Islands rented by Sean Diddy Combs in January 2023. And Jones accuses Diddy of not only failing to step in and stop Gooding from sexually assaulting him, but alleging that, of course, Combs facilitated the entire thing. He also mentioned Brendan Paul, the drug mule that I just mentioned, the alleged drug mule. He mentions him in the lawsuit, alleging that he served as Diddy's confidant, frequently, quote, acquiring and distributing guns and drugs for Diddy, and alleging he would, quote, negotiate the fees sex workers received, end quote, while working for Diddy. Now, before I introduce my guest here to talk about this, I want to kind of go through the timeline of these allegations. So Sean Diddy Combs was sued on November 16th of last year by his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. She was a singer who alleged that he raped her in 2018 and subjected her to a years-long abusive relationship that included punching, kicking, and stomping on her, and asserting what she called complete control over her personal and professional life. The lawsuit was settled later that month for an undisclosed amount, with Ventura stating she had chosen to resolve the matter amicably, while his attorney, of course, continued to deny the allegations, saying the settlement was in no way an admission of wrongdoing. Later that month, a woman named Joey Dickerson Neal alleged in a lawsuit that Combs drugged her, sexually assaulted her, and secretly recorded the assault while she was a college student in 1991. And then one more lawsuit trickling out in November. An anonymous plaintiff accused Combs and singer-songwriter Aaron Hall of raping her and a friend in 1990 or 1991 after meeting at an MCA Records event in New York. And of course, all of these suits were filed. You may be wondering about the timing of it. They were all filed shortly before the expiration of a New York law temporarily allowing lawsuits for older assault allegations that would ordinarily be past the statute of limitations. So all of these were filed shortly before the expiration of that law. But even after the expiration, Combs was hit with another sexual assault suit in December, accusing the rapper of drugging and participating in a gang rape of an unnamed accuser in 2003, when the accuser was 17 years old. And of course, the most recent lawsuit was filed last month by producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones, who sued him in New York and alleged he was subjected to unwanted advances by associates of Diddy at his direction and was forced to engage in relations with sex workers he hired. And according to TMZ, again, the plot thickens. His whereabouts are currently unknown, and his private jet was tracked to Antigua, at which point the flight tracking service FlightAware.com indicated the aircraft was not available for public tracking per request from the owner/operator. So is he on the run? I don't know. I don't know if he's in the plane, but certainly it all stinks to high heaven. I want to welcome my friend Jaco Booyens, Blaze TV contributor, and of course, founder of Jaco Booyens Ministries, where you guys fight sex trafficking. And I know you've been in contact with some of Diddy's team. So tell us what you know.
Yeah, these cases always under wraps for so long, and then when it comes out, everybody thinks it's fresh. It's not that fresh. Yeah. We've known this for a long time. A name I want to sprinkle in there that's really a name we need to focus on is Clive Davis, the godfather of modern-day American music, and that's going to ruffle a lot of feathers because from Lauryn Hill and all these big superstars that Clive has had under his watchful eye, Diddy would be the apple of his eye. And he is the money behind and the foundation of Bad Boy Records. He is everything that is Sean Combs. Mm-hmm. Success for Sean Combs within his other ventures, whether it be in textiles and beverages, et cetera, there's an empire around Diddy. But within the music industry, this has been very well known. As you know, my sister was trafficked through the music industry, through an affiliate organization with Columbia Records. So this is rank inside the music industry. Don't know if he's running. Would not be surprised if he is running. That flight is going to a country with no extradition, right? But it's not just about Sean here. It's not just about him. It's about everybody who saw something and didn't say something. It's the other cases that now need to come out. So this is a call to action to say, look, if you did see something, say something. Yes, I was on the phone with some of his team today. I can just tell you people are scattering. There's some people who truly didn't know that are fearing for being implicated. They're going to have to prove that they didn't know.
Right.
Innocent until proven guilty, but can prove that you were not complicit, because we are talking about minors' involvement here, and it's different.
Right.
When minors get involved, Sarah, remember the law differentiates 17 and under. They're a victim regardless. And really the issue here is, you read it very eloquently, force, fraud, coercion literally falls in the definition of human trafficking. So it's the exploitation of persons through the mechanism of force, fraud, coercion, right? Yeah. Well, you're talking about rape, that's force.
Right.
You're talking about made to do something, defrauded, coercing somebody, bribing them. And then I would argue this, that Sean himself were forced to do things in the industry under the watchful eye, allegedly, of a Clive Davis and those kind of figures. And unfortunately, it is very prevalent in the hip-hop scene.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like, is there an entertainment industry at all that isn't rife with this? I mean, and you also, I love that you bring up, all of the people who saw something for years and didn't say anything. There are videos that have surfaced and resurfaced now of whatever he was called at that particular time. He's gone through the names, right? Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, whatever it was Puffy. At the time. Yeah, Puffy with Justin Bieber. And some very strange interaction between him and Justin Bieber, trying to, why aren't you coming around anymore? Asking Justin Bieber, who was then seemingly, he looked pretty young to me. It looked like he was underage at the time. You've got neighbors who are now coming forward and saying that there were busloads of young girls dropped off in bikinis. And it's like, why didn't you think to say anything to anyone when you saw the busloads of seemingly minor girls getting dropped off at his house? It seems to be something maybe you should mention before.
It's always like buyer's remorse, right? People always go, I tell people, be careful before you meet your celebrity, because you may be disappointed. Yeah. You may be grossly disappointed. And then people almost don't want to, because they want to put them on a pedestal and hold them up there. And this is an icon to some people in the rap and the hip-hop industry. And yes, so many saw something. And I'm always going to go back to that. People saw, people knew, and they're complicit. By law, they're complicit. And yes, if they're 18 and over, we have to prove that there was force, fraud, coercion, but they're going to come out of the woodwork. But it's been going on for a long time. We're talking about early 2000s here. This is not new. Yeah. This is when Sean couldn't get anything done in the music business and Clive took him under his wing early on, within the first 2 years of the record label starting, People in the industry, in our world, were talking about the favors, the sexual favors that had to be performed, the parties, the things happening behind the scenes. I mean, people have known for a long time until someone then comes out and, AKA Virginia Giuffre-esque, says, listen, I'm going to go for the jugular and sue. And then hopefully others come out. My concern here is that the focus is solely on Sean. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what name to call him other than his birth name, on Sean, right?
I guess it is pretty silly that I've just sat here and delivered the entire news of it, calling him Diddy, which is not his name, but...
Puffy or whatever, right? I mean, the artist formerly known as Prince, right? So, I mean, but those involved, this is, we are, it's like rinse, repeat, mistake. We do the same thing. We did this with Epstein in 2006. We did this with Epstein recently and Ghislaine Maxwell. No one else gets subpoenaed. No one else comes to court. They're just Sean. There's Harvey Weinstein. Yeah. All his secretaries, all his associates, they all knew about, the casting couch. None of them get subpoenaed. Nobody goes into, this is what has to get done right this time. Let me ask you a question. Why in the world is the local news agency tipped off that there's going to be a raid? Okay, when you do a raid like this, when we do raids like this, it happens and you learn about it after the fact. You don't have a chopper with cameras filming the raid. Mm-hmm. He was tipped off. I'll just wink at you.
Oh, yeah.
So they tip him off in the raid, and so it's yes, they arrest those kids. Those are probably kids that's in his house. Maybe they run some of his businesses. Maybe they could be a housekeeper for all you know, whoever, someone that's keeping the house when he's gallivanting. But it's time to bring those who have seen something and said something, big names in the industry. I'm not saying they're guilty, but let them come be cross-examined. Come see.
Right.
I know many of them are guilty.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact. And other artists need to speak up now. You remember when Kesha came out and said, hey, I'm trafficked to the record label industry? The public frowned upon it. She's like, why are you a snitch? Why are you a whistleblower? I'm like, wait a second. Support these individuals. When Bieber started talking about Usher, when I start talking about some of these, and remember another thing, Sarah, we have to just explain to people. These artists' careers are managed by artist management teams who manage many artists. Go look into Diddy's, Sean's artist management company and see the other artists, and then see how many of those artists are tied to Clive Davis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're typically all learning this behavior.
They run in packs.
Yeah.
Because they can control it that way.
Right.
They compromise them intentionally. It's not hard.
Yeah.
Go to a party. They do an activity. You were there. You're filmed. They send you a note surreptitiously. You were filmed. You're complicit. You'll shut up. You'll dance. You'll do what we tell you to do. Look at Cat Williams. He's singing like a songbird.
Yep.
You guys don't understand how this works.
Right.
You're just at a party, minding your own business. The next minute, there's an underage girl offering herself. And you're filmed, and you get a phone call the next morning.
Yeah.
And they go quiet.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, I hope he's one of many cards to fall, because I think we need to get rid of the rot within the entertainment industry. If you like this clip and you want to see the full episode, click here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, come on, you know you do. Click here.